So is the plan to just kind of carry three guys and three goalies until he's healthy, or what's the plan goalie wise?
Yeah, I think so. Right now, just the reason we brought Carr in is Denis was just coming off back spasms. So we were actually down to one goalie at one point there. So the plan right now is to see how Jan progresses through the week. So far, so good. Knock on wood. And then Ken's done a good job for us. And then just an insurance of bringing Carr in and just making sure we're going to have two goalies, whatever the combination is, by the weekend.
If healthy, would Denis be the guy Saturday night? Or?
Yes.
And I believe that would be comfortable with him if he needs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as of when it first happened, he was our starter about 5 days ago. So we'll see how things play out this week and make a decision here by most likely by tomorrow afternoon.
You officially determined captain yet?
No, we've had discussions. There is some other guys in the talks, but we've certainly been happy with our leadership group we've had here, and most of them are returning, debating on whether to do what we did the last couple of years, where we spread the A's around, two guys on the road, two guys at home, like we did with Sislo and McKelvey and Sestito last year. So by tomorrow we'll have that locked up.
You guys, we spoke about this a little bit last week, but you guys lost quite a bit point-wise to free agency. Got a lot of young guys coming in. How do you look to replace those points that are now elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, obviously losing Joe Whitney was, he's been our leading scorer and the major part of our offense coming in to each season and continued it for 3 seasons. Losing him, I think the biggest thing is it's I don't think we, and nor can we look to one guy. Obviously, Paul Thompson had a big year. You bring in a guy like Jim O'Brien, who's a proven guy at the American Hockey League level. Joe Blandese, a lot of these young kids, Coleman, Blake Pietila, these guys are all guys that have proven they can score and contribute offensively, especially Blandese at the junior college level. We've talked about this extensively in the past, how that translates into the pro game. There's a lot more aspects away from the puck than just with the puck, and depending on where they start and what opportunity they get, power play, top 6 forwards. Right now, they're all going to get a chance just because of the loss of Black and Laredo right now. Laredo's another guy. It was a small sample size last year, but it was enough for certainly enough for me to see that he can potentially be a big scorer at this level, and he carried it into camp. As Blandese, he had a good camp too offensively. So you throw Kowalsky into that conversation as well. So there's certainly enough young guys to, if you quote unquote replace the scoring of Joe Whitney. Whether they're going to be that dynamic, I don't know. But between all of them, I think we should be able to score some goals.
Looks like you're playing around with maybe having a handful of those young guys on some of the top lines, a couple of the top lines. Are they ready, or are you hoping they're ready?
A little bit of both. Well, no, we've liked what we've seen. I think the biggest thing is Kowalsky, Coleman, Pietila, they can all play center or the wing. So we've tinkered a lot with that, and that's what was really good for me as a coach at the prospects tournament, the rookie tournament. There, we moved these guys around. It was only 2 games, and it was all young players playing. So they were playing against guys their own age, and we got to see some things out of them. So we have that option to move guys around, and obviously Matty Laredo, when he comes back, is without question going to be inserted into the top 6, because I've seen enough and management has seen enough over the course of camp. So we're into some injury problems a little quicker than we wanted to be, but there's no question. I think these guys are going to be able to help with us offensively.
What are Laredo and Black's injuries? What are their situations?
Lower body for Black, upper body for Laredo. Both of them indefinite right now. Just don't have a timeline exactly. I think it's going to be a week to week for sure.
Anybody else that's other than those two?
Mosick as well. He said knee problems coming right out of development camp. He had surgery after, just a kind of a cleanup thing, and he just had off and on general soreness. He played in development camp, or played in the rookie tournament, and he played a couple exhibition games, but he's been getting rest in between each time where he's been getting a little bit of soreness, so we decided to shut him down, knowing that we got kind of a light schedule to start and hopefully get him back to 100%.
Overall, with what you have coming back on defense, you're pretty comfortable with that group. I mean, just the familiarity with most of the guys.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's important that these guys take the next step, but obviously we know what Dan Kelly's all about. Reece Scarlett's looked really good. Roman Harbarenka, he didn't have his best camp, but is starting to look better, and we know what he's capable of. Getting Helgeson back, I think his confidence should be at an all-time high last year. Maybe played a little more NHL games than he normally would have but under the circumstances they needed him, and then came back here. It took him a while to find his game again, but he's looked good and really confident. And then I think the big addition is Grignani, veteran guy that's played in the NHL, played in the American League, power play guy. He can be a leader back there for us, puck mover, but also defends well. And then Mozik's kind of the wild card. He's another young guy that has a history of scoring over in Europe. How that translates, we haven't seen enough of it yet, but he potentially could be a big power play guy for us back there as well.
Last year, Paul Thompson was such a scouting win for you guys, and putting him into a new role as a top line guy. And was that a case of talent that was there that maybe wasn't recognized other places, or was it a case of a guy coming in that was just ready to take that next step that maybe hadn't matured to that point?
I think it was a combination of a guy coming in and looking for a second chance and taking advantage of it. Regardless of, and I've said this before, wherever these guys come from, they get a clean slate with me. They start from zero. And Paul Thompson, we'd seen him a little bit in Wilkes-Barre, a little bit in Springfield when he got traded, played mostly a third line role, had to adjust his game and play a little more gritty. I said it last year, he came into training camp from game one. He showed that he could score, good speed, good hands, and he just never gave up that position and slid right into that first line, second line, right wing slot. And obviously he's earned the right to be there this year. He should be confident, earned himself a contract, had a pretty good camp, and we're looking for him to certainly pick up where he left off last year.
When you in management are looking at guys, evaluating guys, and maybe looking to see, is this guy ready for a new role, for maybe a little more responsibility, what are you looking for in a player when you're looking to see maybe is he ready for another step forward?
Another step forward in his role, or are you talking as far as getting to the NHL?
In more responsibility, or
Well, I think the biggest thing is being able. These guys have to play in all three zones at both ends of the ice. However you want to say it, they have. It starts with their habits. That has to be the foundation of their game, regardless of whether they score or they defend really well, or they're a power play guy or whatever it is. They have to be able to play without the puck. Play in pressure and have composure with the puck in tight situations. Down up by a goal late in the game. Those are the players that you want to try and mold everybody to be. Once they're ready, they get those opportunities to play more, play with confidence, and generally those are the guys that once they get to that point, they're ready for the NHL. So I think the biggest thing is just having those habits without the puck and being smart systematically, and then letting their assets just play out. And obviously confidence is a big part of that. But if you're doing the little things, the coach, I'm going to trust you on the ice, and you're going to get more ice time.
You've got some rule changes this year. I guess the one that intrigued me a little bit is the coach's challenge that you've got. You had any thoughts? Is something you might try to sort of save your time out?
Yeah, I think it's kind of, it'll play out. Even the 3-on-3 is going to be different. I know we had it last year, but so many of our 3-on-3s were so small because penalties carried over. And to see it 5-on-5, actually, we just discussed it a lot with the NHL coaches, because there's a lot more, I think, that goes into it than you think. I just saw how the camera's going to look different. Before it just basically showed the top of the crease, goal line. It looks like it's going to show a little bit farther out, and then superimposed with the clock. So if it's the end of a period or something. So I think it's just we're going to see how it goes. I haven't really thought, do I need to save a timeout? Do you consult with your video guy because he may have a better look at it? I don't know. This is new. We'll see how it plays out game to game, but obviously it gives you more to think about as a coach.
You like the face-off change?
Yeah, I think I think it's a little detail, but certainly can lead to more possession time by those centermen getting the advantage, regardless of whether you're home or away. It's just more of an offensive thing.
I'm sure I want to talk to you about the instead of 2.4-point games, you got 0.38 games in the.
I don't know. All I know is from the few things I saw in the NHL and some of our games with 3-on-3. It's gonna be some interesting hockey. I'm sure the fans are gonna have some fun with it.